What's up guys, welcome to another video. So it's the weekend and we're doing another What's Sold. This week we're going to cover clothing. Clothing can be found in every thrift store in a great abundance, but the problem is there's so many different brands out there, and even some good brands don't carry over great into the reselling field. So I'm going to show you 16 items that have recently sold for me. I'll pop them up on the screen, tell you what I paid for them, where I got them, how much they sold for, how long they took to sell, and my approximate net profit. I say it all the time, of course I'm going to say it again, pay attention to what the item is and what it's selling for, because the other numbers, like the buy cost, can be different for me than it is for you in your area, so that is going to change the profit end of it. So focus on the item and what it's selling for. So hopefully this will help you learn. Maybe you'll see a brand that you didn't know of, or maybe you saw something that you've seen in the stores before, but didn't think it would sell, so you passed it by. So let's get started. Oh, and hopefully the birds outside are not too annoying. I know I've spoken about it before in my videos. Half of my garage I converted to my eBay room, and I have the garage door open, and the trees right at the side of my driveway, these birds hang out. Listen, they do it all day long, even sometimes in the middle of the night. So just something I deal with. Maybe it's a little background music for the video. Alright, first item up is a small item that I found at the Goodwill bins. Not great profit, but I've said before, of course, these type of items I like to find at the bins with a good haul, because it's so lightweight it doesn't change my buy cost, but if it sells for 10 bucks or so, it covers most of my cost because the bins is so cheap. So the first item is a pair of vintage Jordache socks. They were brand new, still in the little wrapper. Found them at the Goodwill bins, so it probably cost about 50 cents by weight. They sold in 3 days for $12.75 plus $4 shipping, and netted roughly $10. So that day, if I bought 5 pounds worth of stuff, it's only $1.75 a pound. This one pair of socks, which is like 4 ounces, wouldn't have changed my haul price because it goes by weight, but it covered the haul. Alright, next up is another Goodwill bins find. This is a leather belt. It was a Soviet Union military belt. Had a nice brass buckle with the hammer and sickle logo on it. I thought it was going to be very rare, but it turned out there was a whole bunch on eBay. So I paid about $1 by weight, you could say. Sold in 5 days for $22.75 plus 4 shipping, and I netted roughly $18. Alright, let's look at some polo shirts. Tons of them in the thrift stores. Depending on your buy cost, and what the brand is, some of them can bring in some decent money because it's not a lot of work. So the first one up, I bought at a local thrift store. I actually bought 4 at the same time. They were all University of Miami polo shirts, but they were all different, like colorway and styles. This one was an Adidas Climalite polo, size 2XL, and this one sold in about 3 months. I paid $1 for it. Sold for $17.75 plus $4.50 shipping. I netted roughly $14. Okay, here's another one. This is the second out of the 4 that I had sold. This one was a Nike, but University of Miami as well. So I paid $1 again. Took also about 3 months to sell. $17.75 plus $4.50 shipping. And again, I netted roughly $14. Okay, now here's a good polo to look out for. This one didn't sell much, but some of them can. This was a Nike Tiger Woods collection dry fit golf polo. It was a size small, which brought down the price a little. If it was like a large or an extra large, I probably could have got a little more for it. It actually was sitting for a while. I think I had it listed in the low 20s, and someone sent me an offer, so it sold for $16. So I accepted it. Took about 2 months to sell, and I netted about $12 on it. Alright, here's another Nike Golf Dry Fit Polo. This was a full button down one though, short sleeve, size XL. Found this at the Goodwill bins also. So let's say $1. Sold in 4 days, $17.75 plus 4 shipping, and I netted about $14. And one more polo. This was Perry Ellis, not a strong brand, and I'll explain why I picked this one up. Found it at the Goodwill bins. That's the first reason. So it cost about $1. New with tag. That's the second reason why I took it. So very cheap. Still new with tag. Not a great, strong selling brand, but with it being cheap and with it being new, I took a shot with it. Sold in 2 weeks for $17.75 plus 5 shipping, and it netted about $14. Alright, here we have a great brand, Woolrich. This was a vintage 90s cotton flannel button down, long sleeve, size XL. I found this at a local thrift store for $1. And you must be saying, wow, Steve, you get all these clothes cheap. There's a local thrift near me. I've showed it in many of my thrift haul videos where I go out to the stores that does the $1 clothing all the time. And they always have really good brands. And I always get good clothing from there. So it cost $1. Took about 8 months to sell. Took an offer of $20. I don't remember what it had it listed at. Probably like in the high 20s. Plus $5 shipping. And netted about $16. Alright, here's 2 more shirts that I got from that same thrift store. These are Banana Republic Grant Fit non-iron. They're long sleeve plaid print dress shirts, size large. Paid $1 each for these, so it cost $2 for the bundle. They sold in 2 days, $23.75 plus 6 shipping, and netted roughly $19. Alright, vintage t-shirt. Found this at the Goodwill bins. It was a San Marcos Trinity Products. It had a wolf print on it. Decent condition for its age. It was a size large. And it was printed from 1993. So I got this at the bins. We're going to say about 50 cents by weight. Sold in 1 day. $28.75 plus 4 ship. And netted roughly $24. Okay, here's another good brand. Always keep an eye out for Harley Davidson. Usually the men's stuff does sell better than the women's, and especially in the larger sizes. XL, 2XL, 3XL. People love them. Anybody who owns a Harley Davidson shirt, if you see them on the road, they're always wearing Harley Davidson clothing. So I found this one at the bins. This was a woman's, and it was a long sleeve, kind of like a heavy t-shirt, you could say. Paid about $1 for it by weight. Sold in 3 days, $14.75 plus 4 ship, so I netted $11. So again, not big profit, but cheap, solid brand. I knew it would sell quick. It did, and I made $11. Another great brand, Vineyard Vines. This one I got for free from a source that I get a lot of free clothing and items from. This one took about 1 month to sell. It was just a long sleeve quarter zip pullover. Sold for $23.75 plus 8 shipping, and I netted roughly $20. Alright, these I bought in the off season. I always, whenever I find things, I don't worry about seasons. If I find stuff in the winter that is summer stuff, I sell it. I've been selling shorts like crazy, and it's the middle to end of October already. Winter stuff I will list in the summer. People like to get a head start. I don't try to judge what people are going to do. You just put it out there and let the buyers decide. So this was a pair of ski pants, Oakley Hydro Fuel. Paid $1 for them, again at that thrift store. They took about 7 months to sell. Sold for $41.75 plus $8 shipping, and netted roughly $34. Alright, here's a couple of LL Bean hiking pants. I had bought these, you might remember if you watched my vids. I found about 8 pairs of these one day at that same local thrift store. They all came out in the rolling rack. I saw them. I looked at one of them, saw they were in great condition, took the whole bunch. They're all different. There was grays, tans, blacks. So I made lots of 2. And I think this was the last lot that I had left. So I paid $1 per pair, so it was $2 for the lot. Sold in 2 months. I took an offer of $30 plus $8 shipping, and I netted roughly $24. Here's a couple of jackets. The first one is a vintage Adidas jacket. It was in a green, had the 3 stripe going up the front, full zip up. Found this at a local thrift store for $3. Sold in 4 months for $23.75 plus 5 shipping, and netted roughly $17. The way I knew this was vintage is by the Adidas tag and the collar. If you don't know how to identify it, do what I do with some of these, just go to Google. You can put in vintage Adidas label or identify Adidas labels or tags, something like that, and you'll go to the images section, and you'll see all the different images of labels, and then there's some websites that will actually date them for you. So a quick Google search and you can find that information. And the last item of this video is going to be this vintage G3 Miami Hurricanes jacket. I found this at the Google bins. I was super happy when I found this that day, because I just, by chance, the first bin I went to, when they blew the whistle, had this in it, because it wouldn't have lasted more than 30 seconds with the vintage guys going around real quick. So this was a great find for me. By weight, I'll say it cost me about $5. It sold in 1 week. I had it listed, there was no comp for it, so I listed it for like $120. I was expecting, there was some other like professional brands, there wasn't no college ones like this, that were selling in the some $50 to like $80, maybe $100 range. So I took an offer of $75 plus 12 shipping, and netted roughly $61. Alright, so out of these 16 items, my total buy cost was $22. 7 sold in a week or less, 2 sold between 1 week and a month, and 7 took longer than a month to sell. After fees and recouping my buy costs on the $22, I netted approximately $320. So 22 into 320. So that's a good flip. Clothing can be tricky. Your best bet is to comp things until you really learn certain brands. And even then, I always like to comp things, and especially check sell-through rates with clothing. Because you'll see people saying, I don't like clothing, it's long tail. But if you check sell-through rates and you find items that have good rates, they're going to sell quick, and you're not going to have that long tail issue. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.